Hi, everybody. Just waiting on Terry Suzuki, who is coming here, and she didn't have the link, so she's coming. Just finished my video with Andrea, and I hated to stop it so short, like I had to, but knew I had another video to do. So fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I'm hearing so many wonderful stories about resilience and openings and all kinds of growth, soul growth, and growth of the individual through these interviews. And it's so wonderful to see the people that we normally only chit chat with in the chat come on and share what they have with us. So thanks, and thanks to everybody for coming and supporting the process as well. At 12 o'clock, I have another show. I don't know why I put these all an hour in an hour at a time, but in that show, I have Kathy Egan coming in, and she's going to be talking about gemstones. She sells gemstones and has been a friend of mine for a very long time. So we're gonna talk to her later. In the meantime, yeah, Andrea offered some really good resources actually to explain different things, and one of those things was soul retrieval, and it is by Sandra Ingerman, and she explained how during times of trauma our parts of our soul can leave and go away. And so this is hello, I'm just filling in a little bit. Yep. And oh, thank you, Harry's mom. I wish I was younger. Um, yeah, I don't. You probably didn't catch it either, Terry. But I was interviewing Andrea, and I was running late, so I apologize to you. And she was talking about soul retrieval. Have you ever heard anything about soul retrieval? No. No, there's a lady named Sandra Ingerman who has a book out. It's been out for a number of years, but Andrea explained that pieces of when we have trauma, pieces of our soul sort of leave the building so that we can deal with the trauma that we're having. And I just think it sounds fascinating. So I got to check into that. Yeah. Hello, MJ. It's good to see you. And welcome. Thank you, Terry, for coming on and doing your resilience interview. I think most people, well, we've only got a couple of people here right now, but later on, if anybody's viewing this, most people know a little bit about your story. And so I'm just going to ask a couple of questions, and you can just ramble on and tell me whatever you want. So I believe you started your spiritual journey, let's say, at a much younger age, that you were young and you had some psychic abilities. Is that right?
Yeah. When I was a child, I saw angels beside my bed at night. I could talk to people that had passed away that were loved ones. I had a lot of things, and I never said anything to anyone because I thought, I am the most normal person I know, therefore everybody must be doing this too.
Absolutely. Yeah. They would if they knew, or they would if they opened themselves up, more than likely. But you must have been a very open vessel, ready to learn. So that's great. Yeah.
I kind of think now that I've had more time to think about it a little bit, I do kind of think maybe I had some pre-birth memories.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Because I do remember at age 5 telling my mother, who was a very staunch Catholic, she told me some rule that we had to do, that God wanted us to do. And I remember telling her, that is not the God I know. No, I'm walking away.
And she's all confused.
5-year-old says that,
Yes. I love that. My son used to come out with some pretty profound things at that age as well. He just always blew me away. Like he was definitely, they called us an old soul if we were able to do that, right? And so it sounds like it. So when did you start coming to YouTube?
They called me an old soul, but
they didn't. Okay, they didn't know what it meant, I guess. Yeah.
Hang on, Allie. I don't know why, but I can't hear you suddenly.
Uh-oh. That's all right. I got booted off the last show. Can you hear me now?
My brother just called, and somehow when I said no to his call, it somehow made you not, but
Small.
that's right. I can still hear you. As long as everybody else can hear you, that's good.
Okay.
So,
Everybody, I guess, can hear me. I hope. Okay. Um,
so one of the things that happened, okay, maybe that will be better. After Trump got elected, and of course, just like everybody else, I was kind of shocked at, the things going on. Some of the really good things that happened, though, is I reconnected with my brother. I've always been really close with all my brothers and sisters, but my brother in particular, we really connected, and we started talking almost every night about
wow.
politics and things. And that was comforting to be able to share some of my views with somebody. At the same time, it kind of caused my newest spiritual adventures, because what I had found was even though I thought I had all this connection to the other side all my life, at about 50, it started to kind of slowly go away, and I'm trying to figure out why I felt really bereft. Like, where's all my fun people? Where's my guides and all my, where are they all? And I thought, well, maybe that's the way it goes. You get older and you lose that connection, and maybe you were just lucky that it lasted past 10 years old, And,
I think you're right.
One day I saw this sign on Facebook for tea and tarot from this women's group, and I thought, yeah. Now my mother had just passed away not too long ago, and she would be very, very against that. And so I kind of thought, oh, I'd kind of like to go, and I thought, no, I won't do that. And but the little voices, the guides inside said, you're gonna go. And so I went. And my question when I got there, what I wanted to know was, how come I'm kind of spiritually disconnected? What happened? And at the same time, this is so freaking ironic, because at the same time, my mom is yattering on. Now, she's dead, but she never shuts up. Okay. So I am not spiritually unconnected, but I'm just kind of like, Mom, shut up so I can hear my guides, not realizing she's not alive anymore.
Right. But you got
So
your ear. So she was going to go on and on. Yeah.
So I go to this reading, and this lovely, lovely lady does a 3-card spread, a past, present, future. And she is reading it, and I'm just sitting there going, oh, I'm like moaning, and I got my eyes closed and just looking a little. And she's like, what's wrong, honey? This is a fabulous read. These cards are just beautiful. And I'm like, oh, it's because my mother's here. My mother's talking to me through these cards. She's saying something else. And she's like, okay, read the cards to me. Now, I've never seen a tarot card in my life.
Right.
But so I told her what my mom was saying. And I to this day, I don't remember what it was, but she's like, she looked at me and she was like, you should be on the other side of these cards. And I'm like, oh, no, I've never even seen a tarot card before. I don't even know what these mean. But she says, well, they mean exactly what you said. And it was my mom saying that this is okay. Because remember, she told me it's from the devil. So I'm like.
Right, when you were growing up. Yeah. Or when you were older. I don't know.
So that started me, that and Trump started me down this path. This path of trying to become in control of these things, of these gifts.
Right.
And so I didn't do anything for a year. I didn't go out and buy a tarot deck or anything like that. I just started watching videos, probably like everybody else. You know, I started with Linda G, you know, and then went to Scott, then Lilac Lantern, Andrea, Danny Shea, and eventually ended up at Susan Lynn. And I really, really liked Susan's energy, but even more than that, I liked her guides. They had my kind of sense of humor.
Yes, they have a
That
wonderful
sounded
sense of humor.
exactly like what my guides would do to me, the fool balls. So,
yep. You could relate to that. Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So I had a reading by her. And it was funny because, you know, I was trying not to talk. I was trying not to feed the psychic. But I would have to say things. And she was keeping this running list, but out loud. She was going, intuitive, check. Empath, check. Psychic, check. Medium, check. And then finally she's like, you got the whole package going on here. Yeah. Yeah. And so I was kind of like, oh, okay. And so then her guides told me some more things. I remember one of the things she said that they said is you got to be a little bit more careful because you can pop out of your body.
Oh, God.
I haven't popped out of my body 2 times before that I know of. I think a third. And so, but they warned me that the more I'm doing this, the more this could happen and to be more careful. So I was, and I went on with my life. She also took more time with me and reconnected me with my spirit guides and taught me how to listen to them. So as soon as we were off the phone call, I heard from my guides right away. And they said, Terri, you're going to write down every single spiritual adventure or dream you've ever had.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. Because I can remember them. If it's a spiritual one, if I was supposed to learn something for it, I still know it, even if I dreamed it in my childhood.
Yep.
So, so I started writing them all down.
And that's where your stories are coming from on your channel.
Yes.
Correct? Yes.
Yeah, that's where they're all coming from. I wrote them down so I could talk about them.
Absolutely. And so you have tarot on your name because you did just open your own channel under Kigaru Tarot, but you do more than tarot.
Right. So I kind of jumped the gun naming it because I'm not going to do tarot on my channel. It turns out, so doing psychic mediumship readings is really more my thing.
Right.
I can do a fabulous tarot reading if you're right in front of me, but online it's not so good. And I don't know what the cards mean as much
as some other people do.
And it's technically really hard to do with the technology and YouTube. I kept getting the cards backwards. You know, like people couldn't read them because they were the wrong way. And so I found, okay, that's not
There are some people that won't even ever reverse them because I guess they don't want to learn what they mean in reverse. So, yeah, that's why I like the oracles better.
I'll read reverses, but what I mean is there's a mirror image that YouTube puts up, and I can't figure out how to get out of the mirror image. So I gave up on that.
Okay. So maybe you just need to change it to Kigaru psychic gifts, or I don't know, something like that with that word.
Maybe something like that, because it's, you know, I'm not really going to read tarot, so that.
But I do like Kigaru. I do like that Japanese word. I really do.
Yeah. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but then in this spiritual journey, COVID hit.
Right.
And I write grants for nonprofits, or that's what I did do. And so I didn't have to quit working. They just sent me home because I had a VPN connection and I could keep doing that. So I kept working. But it was hard. It was really hard because I am a hard worker, but all I wanted to do was do spiritual things. it was like whacking my head against the wall to keep working, because all I really wanted to do was the spiritual thing. Yeah, you get it. You
I
completely
do.
get it. You
I
said
get it
that before
completely.
to me,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
that it was hard, hard, hard.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
You almost
in
have to divorce your life from one side and the other in order to make it work. And it's not easy to do
yeah.
that either. Yeah.
Well, fortunately, I also though could use some of my psychic abilities to tell if I was going to win the grant. You know, that was nice.
Yeah. That slowed
But
down as well,
but
didn't
that
it?
didn't fulfill my soul. You know, it
Right, right,
didn't.
right.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
in August, my place of work asked me to do something interesting, and really that was the birth of Kigaru,
Okay.
because I hadn't really thought about how I was going to do this, and this was before I actually had my reading by Susan, and they didn't have, so they work with disabled adults and kids, and they do physical therapy on horseback. And I have a broad background with horses and with grant writing, so I could write grants for them. I loved what they did. I just loved it. And I used to teach. I
Okay.
used to teach computer and business skills to immigrants and refugees. So I really do. And as you know, it's addicting.
Mm-hmm.
It really
Mm-hmm.
gets you.
It gets to
And I
you. Yeah.
hadn't taught in a very, very long time. And they came to me and they said, because of COVID, we can't do our horse summer camps.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So would you take all of August and would you run a virtual horse summer camp for disabled kids and adults? And I, of course, said yes, because that is me. That's
Uh-huh.
me. Yes, I'll do that. Sure. And so they gave me the curriculum. They didn't actually give me enough curriculum. I had to make up a lot of it. And I had to,
Okay.
so all through August, I would teach in weekly sessions twice a day. So
Mm-hmm.
the staff would send them a kit of crafty things and the lesson plan. And
Okay.
then I would come on in the morning and in the afternoon. So in the morning, I would introduce the craft or do the instruction. And then they would, with their parent, do the craft. And
Put the
then we
craft
would
together.
check in
Yeah.
again at noon and they would show me what they did. It
Wow.
was so wonderful. It was so
I
wonderful
bet.
because one of the things is that they just said, will you do this? But they didn't provide any of the technology I needed to do that.
Oh,
Our
you had to do
Wi-Fi
that
wouldn't
all
go
on
out
your
to the
own.
tack barn even.
Right. Right.
So I had to figure out how to use my laptop and my phone in conjunction, make my phone a hotspot, and then I could broadcast on my iPad,
Right.
and we could go all around. They had things in the curriculum like I had to hold a horse show,
Okay.
which with cool
Virtually.
little ponies. There
Okay.
is video somewhere out there showing me riding a pool noodle pony in a horse show.
Okay. Wow.
We had to have dance parties. One week there was a dance party. Do you know how hard that is to get the technology together to pull off a dance party? That psychic squares you do, that's really difficult.
It is. It is. Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
we invited all the staff to dance with us, and
You can
oh my
invite
gosh,
Ron if you ever do one again, because he's a dancer. Ron is.
oh
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
so it was really good. But I think some of the really best part of it was that I got used to seeing myself on camera, and I
Mm-hmm.
quit like, you got a double
Yeah.
chin, you got too much gum when you smile, you
Understand.
got this, you got that, you look old, your
Yeah.
hair's gray, you know.
Who
Yeah,
gives a shit? Yeah.
I got over it.
Uh-huh.
I had to walk the property with my setup, my hotspot, and my iPad, and I felt like that guy on that phone ad. Can you hear me now? Can you
Yeah.
hear me
Yeah.
now?
I do.
Trying to figure out what were the limits I could go. Could I go out to the barn? Could I go out to the paddocks with the horses? Could I
Uh-huh.
ride the gator all around the property or something, And
Uh-huh.
so I
Wow.
got over it real quick.
Yeah. And I think
after a
that did
while,
help
could
me
not
as well.
care.
I wasn't as worried because I'd been using Zoom for over a year and a half. So it's like,
Right.
oh, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't worry about beauty queen status anymore, so I'm okay.
Yeah. No, no,
Terry,
no.
Andrea says Kigaru knowings might
Oh, I
work.
like that.
That one's a good one. Yeah. So
Yeah. Thank you,
we're
Andrea.
gonna
I
follow
like
you
that.
whenever and however. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to see.
I might
She's got
go for
such a
that.
story. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, that was really the birth that fed my soul a lot, but also what I think I was doing at the time. So my grandma Carol, which is my dad's grandma, and on my channel I often refer to her as my horse grandma. So she's my
Okay.
country grandma who taught me all about horses. So my horse grandma. I really feel that she taught me every lesson in the world about kindness and showing up for people and all that sort of
Yep.
thing. And I
Yep.
really felt that was really having a whole month of just channeling my grandma Carol. I felt like that's what I was doing.
Wow. But you
And
had the month to do it, right? I mean,
right, I
normally
had
we'd be
this
just
month to
bustling
do it.
about. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
another thing that I think people maybe don't always think. I think COVID was a complete blessing, an
So
absolute
do I.
blessing.
I do.
We had
I do.
time to think. We had time to explore. We had time to do weird stuff like virtual horse summer camp.
Absolutely. Well, you don't
And
know when last Christmas, my family, we hadn't really seen each other at all, just on Zoom meetings. And so I said, I'm not going to not have Christmas. And so I had a awning put up outside, like a wedding tent. And we sat outside and it was 30 degrees out there. And we did Christmas apart from each other outside. And it was fabulous, except we all froze our butts off. But,
wow.
People got really inventive and listened more and, were able to download information that they were getting and, not be involved in all the daily driving and going here and going there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just loved it. And it started something in me. It's like, okay, what if you did Grandma Carol's Zoom all the time? Yeah. And I thought, well, that isn't quite going to work. One of the things I noticed is that the kids, and I use that term loosely because some of my age groups I was teaching were anywhere between 5 and about 25.
Okay. Yeah.
And everybody was at different levels of understanding, ability to read or write, ability to do something. And so I had to span all those things. But one thing I noticed as I really got into the groove and really understood what engagement meant, which means they're talking to me and their parents get a break for 45 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I noticed they all would log in early. So I started logging in early too. And they were eating their breakfast and everything. And that gave me a time to say, oh, Laura, what are you eating for breakfast? Are you eating the pancakes you always have? Or, oh,
get to know them a little
purple
better.
shirt matches your purple scrunchie. You look so pretty today. And what I noticed is by halfway through the month, the kids that were more oppositional and weren't taking showers and baths and things like that, they were really fighting their parents on that. They started taking showers and baths. They started showing up with their matching scrunchies. And I noticed on the last day, I think the parents were more upset than me.
Well, as you would have been, yeah. Oh, this was so nice to have a break. Yeah.
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 And to have a kid that will take a shower.
Right. Absolutely. Brush their teeth sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So that was the start of it. So after my speaking with Susan and speaking with my guides, and also finding out how I turned off my guides from speaking to me. So I think this might help other people. I turned off the guides. They didn't
Right.
turn off me. I turned them off. And I'm a type 2 diabetic. And when I am feeling something spiritual afoot, I get a certain feeling in my body sometimes, a certain tingling. Not always, but sometimes. And at a certain point, I said, oh, I think that's just diabetes. Maybe I never was psychic. It was just diabetes. And I started blaming all those feelings on diabetes. And that's what disconnected me. And when I got to talk to my guides again, I was able to take it back and able to ask for
Get the reins
forgiveness
back.
and to turn it
Yeah.
back on. And so it turned
But
back on.
I like that you could give them, make boundaries with them, though, if that's what you wanted to do at the time. So,
yeah.
But it is interesting that diabetes, in Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, because I am second as well, is a sweetness has gone from your life. That's what it is. That's the message. And when you start, it's your life doesn't have the sweetness that it used to have, or something like it has to do with sweetness. And yeah, it was fascinating when I heard that. It was fascinating because what it told me, for me anyway, was I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. There's no sweet spot. There's something wrong. I'm not listening enough, or I'm not doing the right thing if the sweetness has gone out of my life. So,
oh, that's amazing. I'm gonna have to go back and rethink on that too. Re-examine.
Yep. She has that book has saved me so many years of I mean, it's all tattered and torn and whatever, but it has a lot, like if I have a toe, what is it, nail embedded or something, there's that. I mean, she goes everything, and she's so interesting when she does. And
oh my gosh, I'm gonna find that book.
It's a nice book to have.
Yeah. I would definitely like reading that. And I'll definitely have to think over that sweet part and think about like what was happening in my life at that time too. So
I'm going to write it in the chat for everybody. It's Louise Hay, and the book is called You Can Heal Your Life. Susan also talks about her other book, which is about mirror work, which is another really good book. But Hay House has her, their own publishing company, and they're not too expensive, but of course Amazon has it as well, I suppose. So as far as finding your community here, and I mean, I know you took Susan and Kim's classes, and you're also working with some of your classmates, a lot of them here in the chat, but you're keeping in check and practicing and all that, that's right. Another part of the community, really. It's not that everybody else isn't invited. It's just that you met each other in a more intimate situation. But so this gave you sustenance, I would say.
Oh, I think I really found my tribe. I really found the people that I can talk to. And I love all the people I've met thus far. They just, they all have such great skills and gifts. Yeah. And I know some of them, like, no, I'm too shy to go on YouTube or anything. And I'll respect that. But boy, some of them sometimes, and I don't want to do anything to put my skills down in any way, because it could be just like the diabetes thing.
I know, yeah.
But, you don't need that. Some of them are such strong leaders and have such strong skills.
Yes.
And I hope that if they feel led eventually, that they overcome their fear and go for it, because they're just amazing. And I love that we can share our victories and our the times we crash and burn.
Right, which is part of life.
I mean, sometimes we don't get it right. I love it. I love how gently Susan Lynn and Kim Copeland lead us. They
Mm-hmm.
know that you can't do this all the time. They know
Right.
that you're not going to get it right every single time.
That's right.
And they just
But
so
they want you to
gently
try.
teach
Yeah.
us.
That's all they're,
And
and let go. And yeah.
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 And they teach us so many different ways. So
That's true.
I did have a second check-in with Susan after the first one because so many things happened. Let me tell you, things just kept happening and happening and happening. I did pop out of my body once and time travel
Wow.
while I was driving. And that's
That's
when we
great.
now have a new boundary. No time travel during
Don't do that.
driving. Yeah.
Right. It's bad enough that we sometimes are coming back at night or somewhere and we're driving along and we're sort of in that Zen state and we
Right.
wonder how we got home. It's like,
Right.
wow, I'm home, but not
Yeah.
traveling
But
through time. No.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't told it on my channel yet, but I have a couple time travels already
Good.
that were amazing. The one
Uh-huh.
that happened when I'm driving, I still haven't figured out. I don't know why it happened.
But that looks like they
Maybe,
obviously
maybe,
protected you.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It was weird though. But
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so
Yeah. But
what I'm doing now is I am, doing Kigaru, trying to at least put out a weekly video.
mm-hmm.
And now I have a lot of subscribers thanks to you.
Well, everybody else do. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're the first one that said, "Oh, she has a channel," and I think that day I got 40 subscribers.
I know, isn't that fabulous? I know, that's great.
Yeah, and
That's
I
them.
think I'm
That's them.
up to
They're so supportive.
149 now.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
Good for you.
149, and
Good.
so now I still haven't quite figured out the readings, like how I'm going to do that. But what I am doing right now is, since I have subscribers, I put out a call for questions, kind of like
There
you
you,
do
yes. Right.
on
For
your
Susan.
comments page, but I
Right.
don't have enough subscribers to have a comments page yet. So I just do
Right.
it. I put out a teeny video saying, send me a question.
Yeah.
And then I tune in and read those at the end of the video.
Wow.
And that's working so far. I've gotten a lot of good feedback.
Good.
Because feedback is so
Makes you
important.
better to know you're on the right
Right.
track. Yeah.
I think people are worried that they're going to feel like that I might feel negative, that they might be being very negative if they say, no, you didn't get it. I want to know that because I learn when I'm not on track. I learn what it feels like. I learn what it looks
Right.
like.
Right.
So I love that.
And you're interpreting it through your own life experience and everything else. And maybe you didn't, like have the same life experience as the person that's trying to come through. So Andrea posted that she's big on power animals. She's going to be doing some work here. And she says, she's also a type 2. She said her power animal energy that you can call on is a hummingbird. And I love them. When one explores the full information, they're fierce, protective, and they face adversity, and they fly backwards.
Yeah,
Did you know
they
that?
are amazing.
Oh,
yeah. Thank you, Andrea. You're always a font of information.
I know she is. She's fabulous. She really is.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what else we want to ask you. Have other communities like the Tarot Love community helped you at all, or any of the other community that you have found?
I haven't really branched out a ton. One of the first people I was listening to also was Truth Warrior Healing, and she had a great channel. She's kind of on a new journey right now, but
okay. I think we all are,
I'm
aren't
learning
we?
from that too. I expect that we all are going to go on a journey. We might. I might not do Kigaru forever.
Right.
I might be doing other stuff. So
you might be. I love that you're open to possibility. That's very important. Very important.
Yeah.
Dozen Cat says, do you use any crystals to assist you? She noticed that Jean had 2 big heart-shaped stones in her hands last night, I guess.
So I do now. At first I did not.
Okay.
And then I had some crystals that I collected as a kid.
Uh-huh.
And I actually used to go out. I live in Washington State and in the Cascade Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle told me where to dig for quartz crystals. And so I used to dig my own quartz crystals out of the ground.
Sounds
And
like you and I need to go traipsing up there some point. That
yeah,
would be fun.
probably that would be
Yeah.
fun. But it's
Uh-huh.
dangerous. It's really
I bet. Yeah.
dangerous to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then just over time, I've slowly gotten a few more stones that I liked. And
Mm-hmm.
I would say about a month ago, I felt really compelled. I got this selenite heart, and I
Uh-huh.
usually just stick that in my bra. Jen's rolled. I've always been a big bra pocket person, but Jen put a whole new spin on that, and so
Mm-hmm.
now my bra is full of rocks, just like hers. Uh,
I like those little leather medicine bags, more.
oh,
Yeah.
I might
But
get that. So
yeah.
the selenite heart I love because it makes me feel calm.
Yeah.
Most of those stones don't make me feel anything at all, actually.
Okay.
But the selenite heart somehow brings a calmness.
Yep. Good.
And so
That's
I
your
always
stone
have
then.
that now
Yeah.
waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a month ago, I met a spirit guide who's a shaman,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been very strong. He stays with me all the time, but then he directs me which stones to use. I have a piece of
Okay.
turquoise that he uses like divination.
Uh-huh.
Like it shows me something one way and a different way when I flip it over.
Mm-hmm.
When instructed by him, and then a
Mm-hmm.
few other a red stone that I have no idea what it is, a little jasper point or spear, and you
Hmm.
gave me some clouded crystal, some smoky quartz. I like
Smoke,
that
of
one.
course. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
often put that one in, but that one's pointy and sharp.
Yeah.
I
You got to
need
be
to wrap
careful.
it in some tissue.
Yeah. You don't want to be going, oh, at the store.
Yeah, but generally, if the shaman's going to lead me, he has some stones he likes and instructs
Okay.
me which stones. If the shaman, I have a sea turtle as well, and the sea
Uh-huh.
turtle wants to lead me. I don't know their names, and they don't speak to me, so I mean,
You
I
picked
just
that one up in
go.
Maui, I think.
Yes, I got
That's
the
where they
sea
all
turtle
are.
in Maui. I got the
Mhm.
shaman just before that,
Yep.
and they just kind of influence me which stones to choose.
So
But
yes, and I
I
love the
don't
idea that
feel.
you're still work in progress,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
was talking to
Only the
Andrew. Yeah.
selenite actually makes me feel something.
I got to tell you, if you get a chance, I've gotten what they call etched selenite, like in a round, and you can get one with an angel on it. You can get one with the Merkaba on it. It's all etched in there. Problem
Uh-huh.
is, do not ever put your uh, selenite in water because it will just go. It will
Mm.
dissipate. You don't want to. So if you're ever
Yeah.
trying to clean, because it is a cleanser for other
Right.
rocks, but you could put it outside in the moon or whatever, but don't wash it or
Okay. Good to
yeah.
know.
It's very good to know. Um, so what do you need? What are you most in need of here, if anything, from anyone? Where or anything else that you might like to say about how the community has helped you through what this time we've had.
Mhm. I'm really getting a lot of what I want from the
Good.
community.
Uh-huh.
I love getting suggestions of like where to look next. Like I know Thayer, she sent something out yesterday about other classes.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like to hear, I would be less likely to just say, oh, I'm going to take this class from this person I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
would prefer to hear from people I know. because
Sure.
I know then that they have checked it out, and that it's
You're a
good.
vetting, you want to vet them, and there's
I
nothing
want them to
wrong
be
with
a
that.
little vetted, yeah. And I think that really the message I feel like I'm getting very strongly now is to be bold, to go out there and to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that some people know in the community and some people probably don't know is I was not out to my husband. I was not out of the
Right.
closet about this.
I
And when I
wondered
went
if you
to
bring that up
Maui,
because
I
that's
was
great.
instructed to tell him. So I have told him I've come out of the closet.
Right. Right.
And so that's great.
Yeah.
And he's accepting of this.
Good.
He's
Very good.
curious, which I like, but he's
Yeah.
not like completely bought
Yeah.
in. It's kind of like, oh, that's Terri's thing,
Yeah.
But I am not out on Facebook yet. There are some extended family members in Japan who probably
Oh,
my husband
yeah.
feels like wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
And there's some in-laws of one of my children that she doesn't think they'd understand. So I can't just come out.
I understand.
So I'm trying to figure out how to do that without getting
Blowing people's
everybody all
minds.
upset
Yeah.
and
You could
upsetting the
open up.
religious contingent. And
You could just open up another Facebook page and put your. They don't
right.
have to know about it, but that's
Yeah.
up to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I'm
yeah.
thinking about how to do that. But I also want them to. The reason I want to come out is because I want to help them. I want them to
Sure.
ask me some questions too. And I
Absolutely.
have a question for you, Allie.
Okay.
I have never tried to, and people in chat could help too. I've never tried to read somebody who is related to me. So
Mm,
somebody who we would share some of the same past loved ones.
right.
Does anyone have any idea how that works? Does that work?
I've never tried. It's like I don't even do a tarot. Well, I don't do tarot, but oracles. I've been doing the Susan Lynn suggestion, but normally, if I want to know something really important, I don't feel like I have that ability because I'm too prejudiced, or you know what I mean. I'm for myself. I want it to be this way, and so I think that it might be the same thing for me. Am I remembering something that this person said, or is this person really connecting with me? I don't know. I think that's a great question, though.
Yeah.
I know
Okay,
Susan.
because
Well,
I worried that I would be prejudiced too.
but your mother talked to you.
Oh, yes. And my dad comes to me too.
Yeah, yeah. But they're on the other side, right? Both of
Yes.
them. Yeah.
But
Okay.
I was kind of wondering, like, could I read to my grandfather or something? I
Right.
don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
For me,
Is
it would be good because I don't know anything about my grandparents, but then there'd be no validation because everybody else is dead too. So,
See, in
I don't
my
know.
family, when I was a little kid, probably until I was almost 15 or 16, there were 5 generations alive on one side and 3 on the other.
Mm-hmm.
So I know all my grandparents. I know a
Right.
lot of, I mean,
You know a lot about
yeah,
them.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
I would know
It's
the same crowd over there.
It's funny because my father took movies all growing up. You couldn't hear the voices because that wasn't available. But he has movies from the time I was brought home from the hospital up until when I had my daughter and my son. And now whenever I watch them, I haven't watched them in a long time. I often wonder if my memories or it was in the movie. That's my issue. And did I really see that, or was it what my parents told me about it? And then I look at the movie, and you can't hear anything; you can just see what was going on. But that kind of, and Dozen Cats says other tarot readers say ego may get in the way. It might for the mediums. I don't even know if it's ego though. I think it's just you're too close to it. But at this, But I wouldn't say that would be a problem for you, actually, if you listen to your grandmother and you listen to your grandfather and or your parents or whatever.
Yeah.
It might be a little
I
more
don't know.
difficult for people you didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe someday
It is.
I'll get one of my brothers or sisters to let me read them and give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and just see how
Sure.
it goes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So Andrea is going to tell, may the highest self meet with so-and-so's higher self with the highest power for highest good. So that's a wonderful thing. Yeah,
That's good.
absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And April said she had a cousin who passed away and came to me and asked if I would tell his brother and our grandmother that he was okay and that he loved them. That sounds like stuff that John Edward does.
Mhm.
You know, John and some of those mediums. I'm sure if
Right.
these people see that you have the ability to hear them and see them, it reminds me of that old movie Ghost when Whoopi Goldberg
Right.
came in. You know, if they know that, then they will come and they will ask for help. You know, I
Right.
need you to tell so and so's brother's cousin. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
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 But
Yeah. That has happened to me.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Wow.
They happened a lot when I was a child. So much
Uh-huh.
so that I couldn't go to funerals because I was afraid they might talk to me there and maybe
It scared
do
you.
corpse reanimation.
Yeah, I
And I'm
know.
like, that's not okay.
Well, I don't have a fear of death. I just don't, I always said, please cremate me. You know, if my kids want to come in and say goodbye and my husband does, that's okay, but nobody else. I don't want people looking at me while I'm laying there dead on a slab, you know? And we did that with Dad. Just the three of us went in and we said goodbye and then they cremated him. I just don't like that whole hoopla with
Right.
people I just don't like, it just doesn't resonate with me. So I'm just glad I live in a time where it's more accepted than it would have been.
Yeah. I'm not real thrilled with that either.
Yeah.
Although I do want to tell you a story about my dad. So
Okay.
my dad was such a joker all the time. And he was so fun. And I mean, they were nice jokes, but so he was buried. And my sisters really took more of because I lived farther away from him,
Mm-hmm.
they took
Yeah.
more of the lead on, getting everything set up at the funeral home and getting clothes for them to dress him in and all that kind of stuff. And my sisters went in after supposedly he had been dressed.
Mm-hmm.
And they went in, and my father's name was Lester. And they went in, and he was wearing this blue jumpsuit that
Uh-huh.
said Juan. And he had gotten himself dressed in the janitor's clothes. It was the actual janitor's clothes, and somehow my dad got himself dressed in the janitor's clothes. My sisters went in there completely prepared to be crying and laughed their
Oh
asses
my,
off. We were
it
like,
was,
what
yeah, it was
the hell happened here?
what a
What
way to
did you
lighten things
do?
up, huh?
And so they had to have him redressed in some proper clothes to be buried in.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
that's exactly how my dad would have wanted to
Would
be
have done it.
remembered. Just like,
Yep. He's a joke.
poking fun
Yeah.
at us.
Yep. Well, my dad, we didn't want him embalmed or anything because he was going to be cremated. And they said, we can't put him in a casket because he's going to be cremated, or you'll have to buy the casket, even if you don't use it. Something about, so they had my dad on a tin, a tin moving table, and they put a sheet over him. And it was fine. I mean, it was we didn't see anything, we got to say goodbye and then he went away. But no, I think he would have laughed his ass off if they'd put a Juan outfit on him. That
The
is so
girls
awesome.
are just like, okay.
I know. I hope they didn't give it back to Juan.
Well, I hope they bought Juan a new outfit.
I know, that's what I mean. Yeah. Don't. Oh, this guy borrowed this for a few hours here.
Yeah. That would be really creepy.
It would be creepy. It really would. Oh dear. Well,
Yeah,
laughter's for the soul. So
it
Andrea
is.
says, love your dad. Perfect. Yep. Thank you, everybody. And thank you again, Terry, for coming and talking about your journey through this resilience and COVID and all the other things. And I'm proud to say that Terry and Jean and the other Terry Lee, will be coming on next week, and we'll be doing our show. And till they don't want to do it anymore, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
I love it. So
Yeah, it's fun. And I'm so
it is
glad
fun.
Terry Lee is joining.
I know,
That's so
just another
cool.
one. So now we got to get Harry's mom and Andrea and all the others that were in your class to come out.
All the wonderful readers
That's right.
and
Visual
Visual
Arts
Arts
Lawson.
Lawson, my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Bye, Ron. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Namaste.
Bye.
Thanks, Terry.
You're
Oops.
welcome.